The cops are at turd purgatory yet again, George.
Surprise, surprise.
Unfortunately, that clip was roughly 20 minutes with no sound. A Levy County deputy recording from the vehicle, but conveniently no sound. How does that make you feel?
We're humans. Accidents happen.
You think it was an accident?
Potentially.
Okay. All right. Well, we have another video, and it's got full audio. It's a phone call with LIEnette, and it's from the vehicle. It's Deputy Trent, as What the Hales News is proudly broadcasting from Otter Creek. Emphasis on the ODD and the chickens clucking in the background. Deputy Trent was a deputy that was part of Christmas in the Creek, right?
He was the one that somehow got assigned to directing traffic in the sideways rain.
After Deputy Duncan threatened to arrest and ticket everybody, Deputy Trent came in and helped with all of the traffic with huge smiles and did a fantastic job. Now he has to deal with LIEnette on the phone.
Hey, it's Deputy Trent. I was told that you wanted a follow-up call. And
Jessica was arrested. I don't know if Jim was arrested. So everyone is trying to say that this is a civil matter. It is not.
LIEnette claims she's never had any rug addicts on the property. Never lived there, never been there, even though there's a constant list and there's a police call log. So, George, who is this Jessica and this other individual that LIEnette's talking to Deputy Trent about?
Well, according to LIEnette's Facebook post and John Crook's Facebook post.
Whoa, you mean you have receipts? Whoa, okay, go ahead.
They post quite a bit on Levy County Facebook groups.
That they do.
They hired a couple. There's the couple.
Jessica and what was his name?
And Jim.
Yeah, Jessica and
here,
Jim.
John, April 18th of 2023 talks about how they're both meth addicts.
Oh, well, he would know. He would know. He's probably selling them as pills. I mean, that would be my guess. Allegedly. Keep going.
It says Levy County Sheriff are looking for Jim Culbertson and Jess Munford Smith are meth addicts who robbed a disabled mother of a disabled child.
Oh, he forgot to mention that he's disabled. Huh. What about the tortoises? They're all disabled as well.
They are too. They stole a 60-pound tortoise who cannot survive these cold nights outside. Again, this was written April 18th of 2023.
Which, by the way, LIEnette went and messaged every resident of Otter Creek begging to come on their property to look for this tortoise.
So which one is it? Did they steal it or did it get away?
Nobody allows them on their property. Even though she claims 98% of the residents just love them.
Her.
Okay.
They're probably off the grid, living down by the river in her 8x10 man tent that they stole from her. Remember when she got robbed blind, but she watched them take stuff off the property every night?
Remember when she bought the property, she stalked us to Otter Creek, and her Facebook post stated that they were going to live in this giant tent.
In her
that
GoFundMe.
was the plan. And then she set up a GoFundMe saying, well, maybe this isn't the best idea with my disabled, life-threatening... You get the point.
They are driving a green Ford Explorer. They are not this clean and have aged. Jim needs beer every day if that helps to find him.
Oh!
Interesting, because he
the
needs
pot
booze.
calling the kettle a holic. Let's see what else is said to the officer.
And now the lady who I hired at the exact same time that I hired them, and exactly what I told them. She knows where they were to go, where they were not to go, what they were to do, what they were not to do.
Yeah.
She says that she will be my witness. I never let them rent from me. I never, ever gave them permission to own my belongings. That they need to be held accountable. That tortoise has not been found. They were to take him to Chris Thornton, and he never showed up. That's fine. She's in the Marion County jail. They're going to ship her to Georgia. I need to be able to press charges on her.
Okay. I mean, you still have not sent me the photos that you said you had of them on the property taking the items.
I never said I had photos of them taking the items. I clearly told you that she brought me to the camper and that she had me there while he loaded the truck up with everything else.
Yes, but you also said you had photos of them on the property.
Videos.
And you have never sent a video of them on the property.
How do I send you a video?
That's why I gave you my card and said you could email me the photos.
LIEnette is changing her story and narrative, like she always does. She clearly communicated, and we have already shown on What the Hales News, that she had video and she had pictures. And then she stated, then she had to delete everything because of her issues in court with Jeremy Hales. In other words, she was deleting evidence.
Dirty deleting evidence.
Very dirty deleting. We've got the police report right here.
I do have the police report right here.
Yep, there's the police report.
This was initially taken back in March of 2023.
So the first call to the officer Trent coming out to the property about these individuals who stole everything from their lives. Okay.
So she got stolen from back in March of 23, but she didn't call and report it till April of 23. And it specifically says she had photographs from her game camera that showed where the ones that took the items, James took the items as Jessica distracted her.
As they were living illegally in a shed. And then LIEnette's trying to tell Officer Deputy Trent that they never paid me rent. Doesn't matter. If you're letting them live on the property illegally, they are still residents.
In addition to the report, the deputy himself even states that she changes her story. She can't keep her story straight.
Or her names.
Yeah, they don't emails are too long. I don't know how to do that. I'm not a videographer.
Yeah.
Somebody said something about a list too. Then I need to make a list. Well, I started making the list of everything that we know is gone. There's still a whole shed that we can't find the bread maker. We can't find anything. We don't know what they did with anything.
Okay.
They've been going in there they were going in there probably every night.
Yeah. Said, I mean, I never got the photos, and I never got the list that we had spoke about.
I didn't know anything about photos, but
the second time I'd come out there to talk to you is when I had told you, okay, because you were like, well, I don't know how to get to them. I said, well, when you do, send them to me, so that way we can show that they've been on the property. Because you can tell me that somebody stole it, but if I don't see them on the property, I can't list them as the suspects.
Chris is my witness that they were on the property. She was here the same time they were.
Okay, but
Chris Thornton works for the Levy County Sheriff. She's a volunteer for the Levy County Sheriff.
Okay. You said you have photographs of them on the property.
I had videos of them on the property. They were on the cameras. Those cards have been erased. I don't think I have pictures of them on my property. I didn't really take pictures of them. I mean, why would I?
Well, I mean, the game cameras that you had, you said that you would work on getting the pictures from them.
Because you didn't see them taking anything. I didn't know you wanted to prove that they were on my property, but I have that proof. Matter of fact, I live in Chris Thornton. There's other people that were here that saw them on my property.
Okay.
The two CPS workers saw them on my property.
Yes.
Hold up. Wait a minute. Put a little common sense in it. Do you mean to tell me, George, there were two CPS workers on that filthy property who knew there were known rug addicts on the property, according to Crook and LIEnette, living illegally in a shed, and they did nothing?
That's what I'm hearing.
Nothing.
That's what I'm hearing.
Huh. And there are individuals out there that want to go, well, they have been on the property over 20 times. Obviously, CPS is doing the right job. This is the same CPS that hired Silver Scam's wife, who then abused their daughter and then was fired because of it. CPS gets it wrong. A lot.
And don't forget, these 2 CPS visits were prior to us even exposing her and even calling CPS the one time we did in May.
Although we knew all about this going on because she can't keep her mouth shut.
So 2 CPS workers saw him on my property. Chris Trenton saw him on my property. Our friends saw him on my property. They were here on my property. They answered an ad that I put out for someone to work for me. And I have the money. I have the cash app proof that I paid them the money for working for me. I have that.
Okay.
So I can absolutely prove how much money I paid them and when.
Okay.
Every day, I can prove the days that they were here because I paid them almost every day.
Okay. But this was the stuff that you said you were going to send the last time, and I still haven't received any of it.
Sorry, I didn't hear you.
I said the last time we came out, you said you were going to send copies of all this. That's why I said make sure you email me with it.
No.
And I never received any copies of this.
Sir, I don't remember that conversation because I said the only thing I said I had pictures of was that I have a video of the inside of the shed. I have a video that shows the food on the walls. I have a video that shows the blue of the tent in a big black tote that they had it stowed in. That's what I have pictures of.
Okay.
Doesn't sound like the shed has had many upgrades since all the way back then, when now we have pictures of the entirety of the inside of the shed. It sounds filthy. How do you get food all over the walls?
I don't get it either.
I mean, I get it if they were in there picking their nose and wiping boogers like many these individuals over there probably do, but food?
The food could have been in there prior because John stayed in there at one point.
That's right. He soiled himself in there. Actually soiled Madam Mayor Teresa. She saved his life in there. Maybe he was eating boogers. Maybe that's the food all over the walls.
Or the rotting food that they got from Winn-Dixie when they were dumpster diving.
Have you finished the list to send to me?
I have a list. Yeah, it doesn't have everything on it, but it has as many things as we know are gone so far.
Okay. Well, then you can email me that, and I'll add it in there. You said you...
Okay.
Do you have pictures from them being on the property in any of those videos?
No, if I would have known that I had to prove they were on the property, I wouldn't have wiped out the SD cards. I'm having to use the SD cards and the trail cams to protect myself against Jeremy Hale.
Okay.
So, but if I would have known we just needed proof that they were on my property, period.
I have to admit, every time she says the word period, I vomit a little bit in my mouth. You know what else I do? I go, ugh! She wiped the SD cards clean. Why, George?
To protect herself from Jeremy Hills.
Yes, the Hills guy. You remember when Hills was a department store, but then
do.
it went out of business?
I
Yeah,
actually do.
Well, Hales was a grocery store. That went out of business after 3 generations, but I wasn't running it. So, that being said, how in the world can somebody be so foolish to admit when they're being recorded that they're wiping everything clean because they're afraid of the evidence that it contains that Jeremy Hales can use against them in court? It doesn't get much more foolish unless YouTube lawyers reach out to you and say, hey, we want to help you because we want fame, and all they're getting is shame from this. That's pretty foolish as well, considering every route they have told her to go, whether it been Shart, whether it been Deuce, whether it been, it doesn't matter who it's been. Every route they've told her to go has imploded.
It has backfired, and it's all been very bad advice.
Remember when Deuce filed a motion for them in the federal case, and then they asked for a free lawyer, and the judges came back and said what?
Said, well, you clearly know how to write motions.
Obviously.
Therefore, no.
Oh, and Bruce wrote them illegally, which, yes, that's being followed up on, and never cited that he wrote them, and yes, that's being followed up on, and then publicly declared it on YouTube.
That's a Deuce foreskin for you.
I would never have wiped them clean. I would have taken pictures of it somehow.
We had discussed that when I originally came out. And you said that you didn't have access to them and that you would work at getting them.
But there's been obviously a communication error because I'll bring John out too and ask him if you ever wanted pictures of them on my property. You wanted me to show you what they took.
Yep, and you said you had pictures of them on the property. And I said, okay, that would be great, because then that shows that they're here. That was back in the original conversation.
I think you're talking about somebody else, not me.
No.
Talking to somebody else, not her? Is this a public admittal of multiple personality disorder?
Potentially.
That very well could be. Was it LIEnette? Was it LIEnette? Was it LIEnette? Who was? I mean, there's 39 options that we know of, and there could be so many more.
Well, I don't remember that conversation because I would have taken pictures of the screenshots. I would have taken pictures of the trail cams. But I never saw them on the trail cam put anything in their vehicle. So I didn't shoot the pictures because I don't have pictures of them putting anything in their car. I told you that I was going to go through all the trail cams and see if I could find their license plate. I did not find a picture of their license plate, which doesn't matter because they don't have that vehicle anymore.
Mm-hmm.
It's gone. The vehicle's gone. They parted it. They sold it to the junkyard. So I have proof via certain. I hired her at the same time.
On April 21st, I documented in my follow-up investigation with you that you advised you had photographs and or videos of Jessica and James stealing the items. And that you were still working on the list and that you had not emailed the list yet.
I'll bring John into it right now because I never said I had photographs of them stealing the items. I hadn't even looked at the trail cams when you were here. I said I was going to go through the trail cams and see if I could see their license plate.
Yep, but back originally when you filed the report in March 23rd, we had discussed that you can say somebody took the items, but until you can show that they were on the property, I cannot list them as the suspects. And you said that you had the pictures, and I said, okay, that'll work.
And talk to them and see if I gave them the items if they were renters here. So, see, there's a big communication miss. No, that's not what you and I talked about. So, this is a big miscommunication, totally. Because I would have took pictures of them that I had on the trail cams of them working on my property. But that doesn't matter anyway. Chris Thornton can be my witness that they were on my property. So can John's friend Drew. So can the two CPS workers. They talked to them. Both CPS workers interviewed them.
Okay.
Deputy Trent's doing a pretty phenomenal job under the circumstances talking with Crazy. Would you agree?
Yeah, I think he's keeping his level of professionalism. He's trying to remain impartial. He's trying to be fair, which is what every law enforcement officer should do.
But if we only could have seen his face when she said, "I've got 2 CPS workers that are willing to testify." CPS workers weren't there to help her. Regardless of what she's currently posting, her and Crook have both gone public stating that CPS is protecting them and that Governor DeSantis is protecting them. Yeah, it doesn't work that way at all. And Trent, man, to see his face at this point, you hear the pause and you hear the, okay. I would have loved to seen all this. The moneymaker.
So, I have proof.
Okay.
I have to dig out the card for the one worker. The other one never gave me a card or nothing. I don't even know what her damn name is. They've never called me back.
The child is in the background hearing all of this. Most likely you've heard her in the background just like we have. And LIEnette's the one that publicly states she does not use foul language in front of the child. And yet we actually have video of the child repeating the foul language, particularly the P word, as Crook was, yep, you better believe it, stalking me, came, parked on my property, then went back, called me the P word, and then Harley goes, "Who's the P word?"
None of them, not all 3 workers, came to my property. Not one of them has called me back.
Okay.
But like I said, Chris Thornton is I don't know what she said. She said she volunteers for the Levy County Sheriff's Department. So I would think that being a retired military and working for you guys, that you would believe her if she tells you that I hired them the same day that I hired her. She saw them on my property, worked with them, and then she hired them and they robbed her. She has pictures of them putting the stuff in their vehicle. She does.
Okay.
She has that proof. She's given that to her, to whoever deputy she talked to, and to a detective. And she's more than happy to talk to you and tell you that they were here, that they did not have permission to steal my belongings, and...
Well, nobody ever has permission to steal your belongings.
No, you told me that because I let them sleep in my shed, therefore they became renters.
In that shed, not the other shed. The food items that were taken out of that one shed. Not the items that were taken out of the other shed. The other shed that you said they did not have access to is the shed where the items were stolen from. Everything that was in that shed where they lived.
Did LIEnette just debunk herself?
She's very good at debunking herself.
Yeah, she said she's never had any rug addicts living on the property. She just said living in the shed.
Shed.
That would be... Man, I'm wearing the wrong shirt.
I don't even own a debunked shirt.
Oh, I do. I've got one at Hale's headquarters and one here as well.
You want me to go get it?
You know what? We should do a quick change. I was prepped. I was prepared. Debunked.
And where they were staying.
They did. But see, you're screwing this all up. They didn't stay here every night. They crashed here 2 nights, they left. They crashed here a night, they left. They crashed here again, they left. They were never here consistently. I went through the sunshine law and the renter law, landlord tenant law. That never fulfilled as them becoming renters in my home.
Never said they were renters.
They're not. And so if they were not renters, nothing in the shed belonged to them. And they know that, and so do I. They took my clothes, my daughter's clothes, the milk machine. They took a lot of things out of this shed. A lot of things. And they brought things out of that shed into this shed. said, if that's the way you're looking at it, then I can't get any of it back because it all made its way into this damn little shed.
No, that's not what I said. I said everything that was taken out of the other shed, we could document that was stolen. But the food items that were in the one shed, you can't...
It wasn't just food items. It wasn't just food items. It was my Lululemon leggings, $350 worth.
Did I just hear $350 worth of leggings?
You did. She even posted that on Facebook publicly.
She did. And this is the same woman who states that she has no idea how she's going to pay for her next meal, which the child is the meal ticket. What does a disabled woman who says she never leaves her property have to do with $350 worth of leggings? Now, I don't care if you own $350 of leggings. I don't care if anybody owns $350 of leggings. What I care is if people are scamming and conning and going, I can't eat my next meal, but, by the way, I have $350 worth of leggings. I see a massive problem with that. Do you?
It is. It's a huge problem. And then the accusations that's just spewing out of her mouth. She has yet to provide any list to the deputy, but she has no problem listing it on Facebook.
Or trying to buy a monkey.
It was the almond cow milk machine. It was food. It was the baby's clothes. It was, I think that's about it. It was the food. No, pots and pans, my dishes that I have a video of. I have a video that shows everything that was on the shelf. And after they were gone, it was no longer there. I have those videos. I took a video, I think, the day before I threw them out when they weren't here.
Mm-hmm.
Have to address this. That is illegal entry. Now, they are tenants on that property staying the night, okay? And so they are legal tenants. Whether they are paying or they aren't paying, she must give 24-hour notice before she enters that building. Regardless if it's illegal, how they're living in the shed, it was illegal for her to enter that, and without their knowledge, she must 24-hour previous notice that she's going to enter the building. That is tenant rights. When she allows all these different addicts on the property, they have rights. Hers are limited. The only way she could go in there is if it was under emergency conditions. There was a fire, there was a flood, there was a hurricane. She broke the law and admitted it to the officer again.
And that's when I saw the blue tent dock.
See, you're using language that contradicts itself. At first, you're saying they never stayed at the property. They only stayed a day or maybe 2 days. But then you're saying you had to throw them out, which would indicate that they had been there for an extended amount of time. You understand what I'm saying?
No, my calls are recorded, sir.
So are every conversation that I have with you is recorded as well.
2 nights. They left. They came back. They worked here every day.
Okay.
They didn't sleep here every day. But they did sleep here. They slept here several nights. Yes, they did. But I also paid them cash every day. Hence why they didn't stay every day, because they went and did drugs. They didn't come back until the next morning to work because they were out all night doing dope.
Wow. And she allowed them to come back, knowing what they were doing. And she didn't want them gone until she said they were stealing from her. So the aspect of being an addict wasn't an issue. The aspect of protecting this child hasn't been an issue. The aspect of CPS being there wasn't an issue. The issue is potential theft when she broke the law against them entering without previous acknowledgement that they could prep and prepare for. This is just insane to me. This is mind-blowing to me. Would you allow somebody on our properties, knowing that they were an addict or out the night before doing different rugs.
Absolutely not.
Yeah.
And you have to remember, she allowed them to come on her property. All of this is posted online.
Everything.
She allowed them to stay
public.
in the shed because they were homeless in exchange for labor on her property.
Exactly. So housing for labor. And she's saying she has Cash App receipts. How are they going out and buying these rugs? Oh, so her issue is she's saying they stole all these items in exchange for maybe the rugs. That's not even the issue. The issue is she keeps letting them come back.
With knowledge that they're out doing rugs.
CPS is on the property. She knows this is happening. And there's a child who is in complete and total endangerment.
Okay. So, can you email me the list of the items that were taken then?
To Jessica, to Jim. I have all of it.
Okay, can you email me a list of the items that were taken?
Yes, I can.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. Why?
Did you hear Deputy Trent's sigh of relief when he was finally off the phone?
Well, it's frustrating because she contradicts herself. She literally is a walking, talking contradiction. And this is well before she even moved to Otter Creek. This is her pattern of behavior.
This is her life.
Proven by her own biological daughters and
Invading
her
our
stepchildren and people that have known her, neighbors, old friends. The list goes on.
That sigh of relief from Deputy Trent is the sigh of relief that all of the residents of Otter Creek are patiently, hopingly waiting for.